Probably the 50s is probably the greatest American economy that we've ever seen and maybe will ever see because most of the things were made in America and Americans were buying American products. First, people had money. They had money to buy goods that they didn't have in earlier generations. So this idea of people and consumer spending, people went to go off and buy things that they didn't have before. So number one, with just like homes and the beginnings of the suburbs and people buying homes away from the cities sparked the economy and got more people working, and then people started buying things for their homes like appliances and washing machines and electric dryers. So all sorts of things were being purchased, and it was like the latest craze of new stuff, not only for consumers at home, like housewives and stuff, having bigger and better technologies to make their lives easier, but cars and bigger cars, faster cars, and the 1950s was like the golden years of that stuff, of consumerism.
You know, if you were born in '46, by the mid-50s, you were a 10, 11-year-old, very impressionable young kid, and you heard the records on the radio and you heard your parents saying, oh, that stuff's terrible. Well, you knew it was perfect for you because you wanted to be like the counterculture. If you were in the mood to be angry at the administration and at the war and at the death, then you had music to select from. If you wanted to go out on a Friday or Saturday night and dance with your girl, you had an incredibly wide selection of great music on jukeboxes. We don't have these things anymore, and I don't know why, but we saw great diversity in music in the 50s and 60s, in music for listening, music for dancing. In the 50s, the hippies were the ones who were reading Jack Kerouac and playing bongos and jazz clubs and basically smoking up, and what really changed then was in the 60s was with the British invasion, with the Beatles and the Stones and so on and so forth. So that became more of a white dance craze music, because rock and roll was music for dancing for young people. But by the 60s, especially when you look at the civil rights movement, you look at the Vietnam War, you look at soldiers, highly decorated African-American soldiers coming back from World War II, not having rights again once they're back in America. And that I can understand where the Pete Seegers and eventually the Bob Dylans came from, and the Peter Pauls and Marys, that, you know, and Jimi Hendrix was a great version of protest music done in his own unique style. You know, There Must Be Some Kind of Way Out of Here was an anthem for Vietnam. So certainly it's been a vocal art, and that's really what rhythm and blues at its very essence was. It was about telling stories and being a little bit raw, being a little naughty, and having a great feel for dancing and for party music. So the essence of rhythm and blues goes back to the early 40s and has continued through today. At least I think so, the way it is.